Hey WP friends, my name is Josh. If you're not familiar with me, I'm a professional web designer based in Columbus, Ohio. My web design agency works with small to medium-sized businesses, and we build websites with WordPress and the Divi theme by Elegant Themes. Some of you may know me from YouTube and for all my Divi and WordPress tutorials through my site at joshhall.co, where I have a lot of web design resources and courses and a lot of different resources to help fellow web designers, and I'm also a blog contributor for Elegant Themes. So I'm a big Divi guy and I love WordPress. And in this video, what I want to do is talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about something that I'm really passionate about and something that's really important for all of us web designers, and that is posture. So I've been running my web design business for almost 8 years, but I've been working on the computer doing design and other things for nearly a decade. And what I've realized is the past few years, I've been getting a lot more pain and uncomfort in my neck, in my shoulders, and my upper back. And I've realized more recently that it's all about my posture. So what I want to do in this video is give you 5 tips on ways that you can help your posture, because it's super, super important for those of us who work on a computer, particularly designers and developers, those of us who use WordPress, which is probably why you're here. You're going to find that you're on a computer a lot more than some people who may have a corporate job, but they're walking a lot, they're in meetings and different things like that. If you're a coder or a designer, you're going to spend a lot of hours on your computer. It's important to watch our posture. So, number 1, the easiest way to help with this is to simply raise your computer. So I don't know if you can see in the back here, but my main computer, I have a little stand that it sits on, and I just did this recently and it's already made a big impact. I can feel it almost in my back. I just raised my computer so that when I'm sitting down at my desk, I'm not looking down at it, I'm kind of looking up at it, level. It forces your back to stay a little straight. Now, the other thing you can do with this is to lower your chair. So I did both. I actually lowered my chair and then I raised my computer on this little stand. So again, that when I'm looking at my computer, I'm kind of sitting up. This is big because I've found that I go into what I call code mode. And usually when I do that, I'm kind of hunched over and I'm looking intently into the computer. I didn't realize that I did this until I recorded a live sales call for one of my courses. And I looked at my posture and I noticed when I looked into the screen, I looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame because I was hunched over. And it was all because my screen was like right under eye level. And this will happen with a lot of desks. You get a desk, you get a computer, you're going to kind of hunch over to look at it. So raise your computer if you can, maybe lower your seat. Make sure that when you're sitting, you're not having to look down at all, but you're looking straight. It'll make a big impact. Number 2 is to invest in a good chair. Now, the chair that I'm using right now, I'm pretty happy with. I think pretty soon I'll invest in a better one. It was an Amazon chair. I think it was a couple $100. I'll link to it below. But you just want to make sure that you have a chair that's going to support your lower back and your upper back and support and promote good posture. Because again, you don't want something that's going to very easily put you in a crouch position because your shoulders are going to slump. It's going to get uncomfortable. You're going to get a lot of pain eventually. And again, none of us want to look like we have hunchbacks because of our job with coding all day or designing all day. So a good chair will be a really good investment for you, and it'll help your back and your posture in the long run. Number 3 is try out a standing desk. Now, a lot of people are leery of standing desks because they can get really expensive. But what I'm using right now, I'm on my standing desk. I think it was $150 from Amazon. It's one that kind of raises up and you can lower it down. And it's been really handy. I have this in the corner of my office. You can see that it's different. I have my main computer and my main desk behind me. But this standing desk is where I have my laptop often. And it's interesting with standing work, I can't design or code here, but I found that this is really good for videos like this or administrative work. If I'm doing emails or calls with clients, a lot of time I like to stand. It's just good to get off your butt instead of sitting there for 8 or 9 hours a day. And again, there are different varieties of standing desks. You can get some that are lower end like the one I have, or you can get some that actually raise up and sit down if you want to be able to do that instead of moving locations depending on your office setup. But a standing desk is a good way to get up, get off your butt and stand up and really help your posture. Now, I've heard a lot of negative things about standing desks for the full day. You don't want to stand up in the same spot in the full day. So it's good to have that option to sit down some and stand up some. Number 4, this is going to be kind of funny and we're getting old school, but you can invest in a brace, a back brace. So I got this from Amazon recently, and it's literally just a brace that I wear every once in a while, particularly if I'm coding for a while, or I know I'm going to be sitting for a couple hours. You can put that on, and what it does is it just raises your shoulders and brings it back. That'll really, really help with posture. Now, you can still slump with it, but it will force you to kind of sit up more straight. And more importantly, it forces those shoulders back, which is what we'll talk about next. But it's like 20 bucks on Amazon. You can invest in even better braces. And it's kind of funny because I was looking for this the other week and I was like, honey, where's my back brace? I'm like 32, but I've got my back brace. But it really does help with posture and it'll be worth it in the long run for you. And then finally, number 5 is to stretch and exercise. So that's probably a given, but it is really important, particularly for us as web designers, is it's very easy to overlook our physical health. And again, I'm not in terrible shape, but I've really let my posture go and it's been a big impact on me, particularly over the last couple of years. So there are a ton of stretches you can do. You can just do plain stretches. You just want to loosen up your shoulders, and you can do certain neck stretches just to make sure your neck isn't really tight. And one thing that I found out interesting recently, I was told that somebody who kind of examined my posture and stuff is that these muscles and these tendons, if you have bad posture, they get tighter and they get weaker. So that's why you see with like a lot of old people who sit in chairs all day, their shoulders slump, they get the hunchback, and all of these muscles are tight and weak. So you want to keep these loose. You want your shoulders to drop, and it'll just make such a big impact. So exercising, whether it's push-ups, you don't even have to be a workout buff, as long as it's just doing some push-ups or something just to strengthen your shoulders a little bit. And then ideally, even things like taking a walk. Walks have a ton of benefits with posture, so I couldn't recommend that enough. So there you go, guys. Those are my 5 tips. Let's recap those real quick. Number 1 is to raise your computer to make sure you're not looking down and hunching over to look at your screen, or you can lower your chair to help out with that. Invest in a good chair. Make sure it's supporting your back. Check out a standing desk. You don't have to invest in a $1,000 desk. You get something from Amazon like I have that's a couple $100 to where you can get off your butt and actually stand up and do some work for a little while. Check out a back brace if you really want. If you find that your posture is really bad, get something that's going to force you, in case you forget, to work on your posture. And then finally, stretch and exercise. It'll go a long way. So I hope this helps, guys, and I'll see you guys all soon with better posture and straighter backs.